Well, good afternoon, and welcome to this week's edition of Drive Facebook Live. I'm your host, Bob Spitz, with my partner, Tony Whistler. And our special guests today are Wade Lennan of Monaco Motors, an old friend of mine, and his coach, Carla Weiss, an even older friend of mine. No, longer friend of mine, not older.
Good. I don't
Yeah.
like that correction.
Well
Well,
done, Bob.
well, hello, guys. Good to see
Hello.
you.
Hello.
Hey, Wade, for those who are listening in who may not know you, why don't you introduce yourself, where you're at, the kind of shop you have, all that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the invite today. Greatly appreciated. My name is Wade Lennan. I own a shop in California, Canoga Park, California, as a matter of fact. And I opened
That's
the
part of
shop.
LA.
That's part of Los Angeles.
Yeah, but in
Right up.
in real LA form, you just got to tell everybody what interstate it's near, and then everyone knows what's going on.
Right. Off the 134.
134, there it is.
134, 101. I'm right between both,
There it is.
as a matter of fact. And
At
I'm
least
right in
he's
the
not
middle of
close
those
to
two
the
free. I'm
405.
right in the middle of those two freeways. Not too
He's
far
so
from the 405. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not, yeah, exactly. He's not too bad. He's not
Yeah, yeah.
exactly
So
by the 405.
There you go.
yeah, you don't want to be traveling out there on that freeway during the day or anytime really. I try to avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I live close to the shop, real close to the shop. Walking distance, actually, as a matter of fact. I
Well,
love that.
that's kind of getting to be the favorite mode of transportation in Los Angeles. I'm in a hurry. I better walk.
There
Okay,
you
okay.
Good
Can I just
exercise.
can I just say one thing? Carolyn just put in the chat when I said interstate, she said Tony's talking about freeway. Apparently, I don't have the California nomenclature down anymore.
Yeah, you said
I've only
interstate. Yeah, it's
I've only been
interstate.
gone for about 5 years. I already forgot all the terminology.
Yeah, Tony's a
So,
freeway.
so how long you been in business, Wade? What kind of work do you do? What kind of shop is it?
We just celebrated April 1st. No April fooling. April 1st, 1991, we just celebrated. We've been in business 34 years, rolling into our 35th year.
Yeehaw! Holy cow!
Yeah,
Awesome.
35th year. Going for 40.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice
Yeah.
goal.
Now,
And
didn't we forget to introduce somebody that's in the meeting? I forgot. It wasn't. There was one other
no,
Everybody
person.
knows me. That's all right.
No, we got
you
you.
were introduced.
I
Talking about
introduced Wade.
Pac. I'm talking about
Oh,
Paco.
Oh,
Paco. Yeah, we
Paco,
Oh,
introduced
yeah. Oh,
Paco.
yeah.
yeah,
Where's
yeah. In the
Paco?
background there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's the
actually a
real
live
boss.
bird. You know,
That's the real boss right there.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's not a Monty Python nailed to the perch.
Pushing up daisies.
He's so still that he
Mellow?
doesn't think. Yeah, he's so still. He doesn't look like. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
He's
there
like
goes the
moving
head
up.
move.
Looks like a stuffed bird for a second, huh? There's been a few times I felt like stuffing him.
So what
How
kind of
long have you had Paco?
Oh, I've had him since he was 9 months old. He is 26. And
Wow.
when I bring people into my office, or I'm bringing them down to my office, or I'm doing potential employee interviews, I always tell them I'm going to take you down and introduce you to the boss. And there's the boss.
There's the boss.
Very good.
So wait, back to the shop. What kind of shop do you have?
I service, well, it started out kind of differently than what it is right now, a little bit differently. And we used to do a lot of exotic cars. I came from actually Beverly Hills sports cars, and we did a lot of exotic cars there. So when I opened this business, I also brought that mindset into the business. You know, I was going to be doing Italian cars and English cars, Rolls Royce, and we still did German cars, quite a few. And I have a background in German cars as a technician. But I came to find out that, that really wasn't where my bread and butter would be coming from. Those cars would sit around a lot. There was a lot of challenges with Italian cars and English cars. So with you guys, when I first joined, it was Management Success. Now it's Drive. There's history there as well, with me and you guys. But yeah, so you guys had me look at my coaches. Bob was my coach at one time.
We all were at
Larry
one
Monroe
time.
was my coach at one time. And Carl is now my coach.
Yep.
You guys are wonderful. I get a lot from you guys, and it's been great. The years spent. I actually came into Management Success in '97. That's actually when I first signed up. Was in
Wow.
'97, and went to my first seminar, but I didn't go right away. It wasn't something that I actually thought I had time to do. It was putting that toolbox to the side, locking it up, and then going to this, and I couldn't break away from that. And it took me a couple years just to go to that seminar that I paid for in '97. And it took me a couple years to get there. And then when I finally got there, I came to realize there was a whole nother aspect of the business that you really need to focus on, and
I know.
yeah, the
Yeah, but
toughest thing.
I know you, and I know how seduced you used to get with those big tickets for working on Ferraris.
Oh yeah, yeah, big tickets. Yeah,
Big tickets.
yeah.
But trying to get your technicians to work on them was a whole different story.
Yeah, I had challenges with that. You have to basically, if you're going to work on Italian cars, there's completely different mindset than it is with these German cars that we work on. But you have to have the insight, the foresight, everything. You basically have to have an interest and desire to work on those cars, and they're unique in their own category, of exotics. We found that we had to make parts for those cars. We had to make tools for those cars. That was the big challenge. And
Well, you're
not,
working on race cars with headlights.
there you go.
So you're saying that they're not painted on, Bob? They're
No.
real headlights?
Yeah. So even though those tickets were big, the real bread and butter was in the maintenance and getting into the consistency of the German makes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The in and out stuff, the cars that'll be here maybe at the most 2 days, you know. But when you're talking Italian cars, you're talking, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, And you can figure that if an Italian car came in, any of the Ferraris or any of the Lamborghinis, they were going to be here for minimum a week, and sit around for a week. And also, they take up space, and just a lot of things that just didn't add up, to the bottom line. And even though that they were big tickets, the stuff that we do now, the German cars, we see those cars on average, 2 days at most, and they're in, they're out. We can get the parts, we can get all the information, we have all the testers. Ferrari and Rolls-Royce, they're not good about providing any of that, or wanting to, even though legally they're supposed to share that information. They're not real good with their publications. They're not real good with selling their tools and all that stuff. So I had to take a really good look at that and break away from that, as hard as it was to break away from it. I actually had a couple technicians that worked here. One of them I brought in, he closed his shop down, and he specialized in Ferraris. So he came to work for me and brought all his Ferrari business, which really, helped out a lot. And then I had a Rolls-Royce guy that worked for me that was a technician. He brought all his Rolls-Royce cars and clients, with him when he came here. And basically, looking at the German cars and my experience as a technician, working on Mercedes, working on Porsches, working on BMWs, and taking a real honest look at it and going, well, we can't get all this information. Unfortunately, the guy that brought the Ferraris over, unfortunately, passed away. He passed away. That was, a big dent, what was going on around here. So,
Well, that is a problem when you have technicians who can specialize.
yeah.
And then you have other technicians, I get very good at working on a certain make and model. I don't necessarily want to dive into something I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I ran into that. I ran into, like the Ferrari guy, that's what he did. That's where his heart was. That's where his passion was. He wanted to do, Ferraris. He didn't want to do any other cars. And I find that true, and I had to take an honest look at myself, because there was a time I wouldn't touch anything but a Porsche, and then I got recruited into a Ferrari shop. And the pay I couldn't refuse, because the owner, he stole me away from a Porsche shop. The owner of Beverly Hills Sports Cars stole me away from a Porsche shop, and because he was so impressed with the inspection I did on the vehicle. Back full circle back to inspections, how important they are. So basically, he was so impressed with that inspection, he had his secretary call me up at the shop that I worked at, and said he told the secretary to ask me to come and meet with him. And I went and met with him, and I sat in front of his desk, and he says to me, so, I'm really impressed with your work and your inspection on this car. My guys missed quite a few things, because I had my guys check this car out. He said, I want you to come and work for me. How much money do you need to get paid? I said, I'm really not looking for a job. I'm happy where I'm at, where I'm working. He said, no, I want you to give me a number. Give me a number. I want you to come and work for me. I said, well, I don't know anything about Ferraris. He said, I'll teach you everything. I said, I'm really, my heart's really in the Porsches. That's what I work on. I don't work on anything else. I just work on Porsches. He said, no, come on. I want you to give me a number, and I thought of a number right off the top of my head. I gave him the number. He goes, you got a job. He gave me a job right
And
there.
you said, oh shit, I should have asked for more.
I thought that later.
I thought you worked for Hollywood Sports Cars.
No, Beverly Hills Sports
It was
Cars.
Beverly Hills. Okay.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of Stars cars. A lot of Stars.
Yeah, Cars of the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but talking about that salary, I would tell people when they're haggling or they're negotiating for anything, if they don't want to do the work, they should just price it out of the market. You don't want to do it anyway, so just price it really high. And if they take it, then you go, well, I guess I do want to do it if you're going to pay me that much.
Right.
So it sounds like
There
the
you
same
go.
thing. Yeah, I said never close your business. Just price yourself out of the market if you really don't want to do it anymore.
I like that.
So we tell them about your recent expansion in the shop.
Oh, yes, please. Tell us about the paint.
You want to hear the expansions from the beginning, or you want to hear the most recent one?
Well, how many bays did you start out with before getting the new building?
So I've been at the same location the entire time. I started out with 1,000 square feet, and I did everything. I answered the phone, I fixed the cars, I checked the customers in, I swept the floor, ordered the parts, did everything. And I already said answered the phones, but I answered phones.
It has to be stated twice.
I did that all day long, and then at night I would fix the cars when everything was quiet.
That's a long day.
Long day, long day.
So
I
you
wouldn't get out of
expanded
here till
out of
10 o'clock
1,000
at night.
square feet to what was the next iteration?
Well, then there was an earthquake. Uh,
Oh, 94.
yeah, there was an
Yeah.
earthquake, and I expanded then. Uh, so what happened is that the face of the building started to come off, after the earthquake. So they had us move out of here, and they put me in by that time I had 2,000 square feet. So I went from 1,000 to 2,000 because there was another body shop in here that had 1,000. So I took that 1,000. So I had 2,000. So when I moved out of here, when the earthquake hit, they put me in a little 1,000 square foot shop with no hoist
Oh,
in another part of the building. And I was working with a floor jack for 6 months.
oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I don't think I even had an employee then, or I had one employee. Yeah. And so when the earthquake hit, when they moved me into that one little space, like 1,000 square feet, I had the opportunity, because other people had moved out of the building, I had the opportunity to take an additional 2,000 square feet. So I jumped on it. So by that time, the shop was 4,000 square feet. And then another 1,000 square feet came up, and then I became 5,000 square feet. And then I knocked another wall down and became 6,000 square feet. And
It's funny. Sorry.
and and then
1,000 square feet at a time.
yeah. As they moved out, I moved in.
Right. That's right.
So then I kind of dragged my heels on this additional 2,000 square feet, because there was a body shop in here. The reason I was dragging my heels because I was on the fence, about either possibly retiring or continuing. And then also, the idea came up of trying to sell the shop. And then this space came available, and I always wanted this space, actually. I always wanted it because I loved it, because it was on the end. And I originally wanted this space that I just took most recently. I just took this additional 2,000 square feet in the middle of the summer last year, 2024. And they made me the sweetest deal just from my holding off and procrastinating. They made me the sweetest deal on the lease, on the triple net, and I couldn't turn it down. So no increase on this additional space that I took, no rent increase. I only have to pay $100 for triple net for that
Wow.
additional
In Los
space.
Angeles.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
So
The
what
guy,
you up to 6 bays?
So now 8 bays. It's
8 bays.
8,000 square feet. Yeah.
And how
Well,
many
I didn't know
techs?
if your office took up one of the bays.
Oh, no, no, no,
And you have how
no.
many techs?
There's 4 techs. They each have 2 hoists, and I
Nice.
have 2 service advisors, and a manager and a secretary. Yeah.
Very good.
And I
Now, do
have
you do a lot
Carla.
of, and you have Carla,
You
that's
have
right.
and you have to talk about the floor because I'm fascinated by that floor.
Yeah, you did something
I think
unique with
it's
the floor.
nicer. I think it's nicer than a museum.
Tell
Well,
us about the
thank
floor.
you. And I'm tempted to do it with the rest of the shop. I'm really tempted. I actually saw the contractor yesterday, and I was asking him about doing the rest of the shop like that. But
So, like
my
what?
floors were always painted in epoxy paint, and the 6,000 square feet is all painted with epoxy, and it chips, and over time it just gets a lot of wear and tear on the floor. So when I took this additional footage, which is 2,000 square feet last summer, I decided to go with porcelain. So I put porcelain tile in on the floor. And when I got this place, this additional 2,000 square feet, it was a dump. They just trashed it. There was a body shop in here. They painted the walls, put holes in the walls. They converted one of the bathrooms into a kitchenette. They took the one of the offices and put down a wooden floor that ended up buckling from the heat. All the wood buckled up and everything. It was a dive. There was a hole in the wall. That wall right there where Paco is, there was a big, huge hole. They cut a hole out of that wall right there. And it was like kind of like they put a plexiglass in there as a window, made it like a see-through
see-through
wall
hole
there. Yeah. Yeah. And this office that I'm sitting in was just completely trashed. I mean, there was metal meshing on the windows, and it was just a disaster when I took it.
Now I have a question for you. One of the things that I find fascinating is you're in a position now with your business and you're running it so effectively that you do a lot of traveling. And I think that people would want to hear about some of the adventures you've had outside of the shop, because the shop is totally operational and it runs itself. So
yeah, we've jumped pretty far from you being a stage one shop doing everything, including answering the phone,
Twice.
to where you
Three
are
times. You
where you
forgot
are
three
now
times.
with 4 technicians, 2 service advisors, plus Michael is still with you doing marketing, and you have another person helping you with marketing. So you are truly a stage 4 shop, and that's hats off to you. Not everybody can make that, and you did it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And
Thank
so,
you guys.
so
Thank
tell us
you.
about some of
With
your
your help,
travels.
with
Where's
all of
he
your help.
going? Yeah. Ask
Yeah.
him where's he going in May.
Where are you
Oh
going in
yeah,
May?
where are you going in May?
I'm looking forward to it. It's about a month away almost. I'm headed to Germany for 2 weeks, and this is something I've always wanted to do. I want to take a tour of the Porsche factory, and I want to also take a tour of the Mercedes factory and go to the Mercedes Museum. And then we're going to make our way up to Basel, Switzerland, and then board a riverboat and take a tour on the Rhine River, and stop at a lot of different ports within Germany. And we'll eventually end up in Nuremberg, and then from Nuremberg,
Wow,
fly back to LA.
you going to be there in time for the race?
No, I don't. I wish I had more time. There's a lot of things to see over there, a lot of things to do. And, Mercedes has a lot of events too on a monthly basis over there. There's a lot of things we won't be able to get to do. I have to make it another trip.
There you go.
Yeah. And you won't have time to go down to Bavaria and visit BMW.
No, Munich is quite a distance away from Stuttgart. I took a look at that, and I wanted to go to the BMW factory and do a factory tour there. But I was trying to figure out, all the logistics and the time and everything else. And the fact that basically we got to be in Basel on the 23rd of May to board the show. So from Stuttgart to Munich is like 5 hours, and I'm going to have a rental car. So,
well, how far will you be from Berlin? Because I know BMW's headquarters are still in Munich, but I do know they're doing a lot of manufacturing in Berlin.
Berlin's quite a distance away.
Yeah, from Stuttgart. Yeah, you're going from the west to the east.
Yeah, so I think it's going to have to be another trip. It's a good excuse to go back.
Go back.
There you go.
Got to go back.
Your next trip is planned.
No, but I love traveling, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. Traveling's been a passion of mine. Last year I was in Portugal, and spent some time in Spain and Portugal. I love Portugal. I always wanted to go to Portugal. I had the opportunity to go there, and I loved it. It was a great country. Went to Lisbon, started out in Lisbon. Actually went on a motor coach across Portugal, and went down to what was it, Porto in Portugal. And Porto's beautiful, just a beautiful city.
I think that's where port wine originated.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of farms there. I went to I actually went to a chateau in Portugal, and got to meet the owner of the chateau. Very interesting. It was gorgeous. The chateau is like sitting up on top of a mountain overlooking the river.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now,
Very
Wade,
cool.
I've got a question for you. As we discussed, you started out very much a stage one shop, very much a technician mentality. And over the years, you've done a lot of training, you've had a lot of coaching, and you are in stage four. So if somebody is listening on this and they're in stage two, they're still working in the business, what would you suggest to them as far as the training you've received?
I would say do everything that they tell you to do. They
Whether it
know
makes sense
best.
to
They
you or
know
not.
best.
I think it's good advice.
Well, I know.
Don't question it like me.
Well, it took a while to get you to hang up your toolbox.
Oh my God, yeah. It sits in the corner now.
It's still there, huh? And
I
then
was
it took a
thinking,
while to get you off the counter because you love to sell.
oh, yeah, I loved every aspect of the business. It was, it's so hard to break away from both things that you mentioned. Um, and also sales, I love sales. I love dealing with people. I think I'm pretty good at it.
Oh, I
But
know you're good at it. Anybody who's gone through as many service advisors as you, I know you're good at it.
I'll tell you,
That's
that's
good.
the best class I ever did with you guys. I mean, my favorite, I should say. They're all good, but my favorite is the service advisors class. And I'm really big on your training, and I actually have my guys in the front office. They're going to be taking the service advisors class before I leave for Germany.
Oh, good.
They're going to be taking it again.
Great.
And you're probably thinking, well, how's he going to put two service advisors in a class and have the front run?
It's his evil plan so that he
Yes,
can
to
sell.
get back on the counter.
It's his evil
Exactly.
plan to get back on the counter.
I'm
Exactly.
I'm investing in my future.
Well, no, it's the only, no, it's really the only way you can get back on the counter without your consultant yelling at you about it.
That's right.
Like, how can I get back on the counter without Carla being angry with me? Oh, I know. I'll put both my guys in this workshop.
Hey, Tony, I think it's time for a station break.
I think it is. Next week, guys, we're going to have a very, very fun client of ours, Master of Shop Management Drive client John Starkey of Starkey's
Oh,
Auto Repair. And
Great guy,
we
great
we
guy.
always he's a really great guy, and we always look for any reason we can to go do an inspection on his shop because his shop is in Honolulu, Hawaii. And he spends half of his day surfing now because he's in stage four. So while you like to travel, he likes to surf. So that's what he does half a day every day. And he's going to be with us next Friday, so don't miss that. And
Wonderful.
also do not forget about the expo. The expo is coming up Thursday, September 18th through Saturday, September 20th,
yes, be there.
2025 in Las Vegas at the Westgate. And we encourage everyone to come because we know how to throw a party, and it's gonna be a great 3 days. So
Absolutely.
back to you, Bob.
Carla, any last words for Wade?
No, keep doing what you're doing.
I
Absolutely.
love the old Nike saying, just do it.
Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Yeah,
That was good advice, Wade. Just do it. Whatever your coach tells you to do, just do it.
yeah.
Don't think about it. You start thinking about it, you'll go, I don't want
Yep.
to do that. So you just have to do it. Well, from all of us at Drive Facebook Live, I want to thank you for tuning in. Wade, it's great seeing you again. It's been a long time.
Thank you.
If I don't
Great
talk to
seeing
you,
you.
yeah,
Great seeing you guys, all of you guys.
yeah, have a great time in Europe.
Oh, thank
And
you. I'm
yeah,
looking forward to it. I'm already, excited, and it's 4 weeks away.
Nice.
yeah, yeah. And Carlos, good seeing you. And so from all of us, you all have a great afternoon and a fabulous weekend.
All right.
Bye,
You guys do the
everybody.
same. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.